Hey JGB. Coming to you from Oaxaca, Mexico still. I am in my little apartment in quarantine, surviving, healthy, happy, and all that. And I'm here to talk to you about health actually. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while about some of the health stuff that I've been going through. I've been talking to friends and family about it, and every time I talk to people I feel like I'm missing something or there's more that I want to say. So I thought to capture this in a video because these conversations keep coming up. And this is something I'd like to be able to share because I'm learning a lot thanks to everything that I'm going through. So this is my effort to share my experience and reach out, and hopefully anybody who can relate, I would love to hear from you. That's why I'm putting this out there. So please feel free to interact. So some of the health problems I've been having would be labeled as autoimmune disease. I have terrible lower lumbar arthritis all of a sudden. I'm 36 years old. It's really not normal for me to have arthritis in the sense. And when I say arthritis, I don't mean like, oh, there's an ache in my back. I mean like every time I stand, every time I move, I'm so stiff that it takes like a good few minutes before my mobility's back and I can move. So I feel like an old woman, and it's not normal for me to feel this way. This started happening about 4 months ago. I was having pain in my back and I thought, well, I'm a digital nomad. I sit for too long. I travel too much. I go long distances. And I figured I needed to stretch more. I needed to do yoga. And so I did that. And I started doing the standing desk. And I've tried all that. And it made no difference. Went to a doctor here in Oaxaca who pretty much said, you know, they have these elixirs and these special rubbing alcohols for people with arthritis. Why don't you try that? And I was like, arthritis? I don't have arthritis. I'm not 70. And he was like, well, you know, give it a try. And so I got this rubbing alcohol, and lo and behold, it's CBD, THC mixture of some sort. And you use the rubbing alcohol, put it on my back, and it was like a fucking miracle. Like instantly, the pain was gone. The stiffness got better. And I thought, could this be real? Could I really have arthritis? Like, why do I have arthritis? Tons of research later, I realized that arthritis is an autoimmune disease. I've had other weird autoimmune stuff come up. And so I thought, oh my God, maybe I do have arthritis. Maybe this is autoimmune related. So around the same time where I'm like figuring out what's going on, I'm having these dizzy spells. So every time I stand up, and I don't know if you notice how many times a day you stand up, but for me, it's like 20, 30 times a day. When I go from sitting to standing or from lying to standing, I get completely dazed. So I see like white, I don't know how to describe it, but my whole vision goes white and I feel like I'm going to pass out. I never pass out, but it actually does get to the point sometimes, and I can't figure out what the vulnerability is, like what's making it worse. But there are some days where I actually get really confused. Where am I? What just happened? Sometimes it takes over a minute for me to go from sitting to standing, and then I get the white light and I like find a wall and I hold on to the wall and I just wait it out. And sometimes it takes like a minute, and sometimes it's obviously a blood circulation thing, right? Obviously the blood is being cut, the circulation, and so I'm not getting the right oxygen to my brain, which is terrifying. So something's going on with my blood flow. So hypotension is what I've found online. This is scary, guys. I don't know what's happening, and it's happening so often to me that I need to figure out what's going on. I need to make sure there's no blood clots. I do have a history. My brother has blood clot issues, and it's a genetic blood disorder. So something's going on. But when I was doing my research, I found out that people with hypermobility, which is me, bendy people who can do really weird stuff like that because we're hypermobile. Apparently people with hypermobility are more prone to having blood pooling and having issues with blood circulation. And there is a condition called POTS, P-O-T-S, POTS syndrome, where it's actually an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune just means your body is attacking itself, and it's causing consequences like the blood circulation issues, like the inflammation that is causing problems with my back. So realizing, wow, where am I getting all these autoimmune disease? What's going on? And so I've done lots of reading, and there is a belief system out there that thinks that people who have repressed trauma, people who do not deal with real things happening in their life, people who bury things, emotionally repressed stuff tends to cause your body to have a physical response. Now, the mind-body connection is contested in Western medicine. So every time I've had really big health issues, I've gone to a doctor and I've been told there is nothing wrong with you. Now, this isn't news to most people. Western medicine, you know, when it comes to gut stuff or when it comes to emotional stuff or when it comes to anything like that, Western medicine isn't known as the best solution. So an example of that, I became allergic to the color red, E122, when I was in my 20s. I was at work one day, I had a red velvet cupcake, and I went to the grocery store and I saw my reflection in the glass while I was getting frozen stuff out of the freezer, and I was bright red and my face was closing in. So my eyes were closing in, so swollen, and I looked down and I realized that I was lobster and covered in splotches and hives, and I had to get to a hospital. It was a nightmare. I tried to get in a cab and the cabbies literally ran from me. I looked like a monster, and that was the first time I had an anaphylactic reaction to something that I was not previously allergic to. I've had E122 many times in my life, but for some reason my body decided to attack 122 for some reason. So for a couple of months I was severely allergic to the color red, and it took me a while to figure out what the allergen was. But since then, I've had a number of pop-up allergies, which is what they call them. And every time I have a pop-up allergy, I have an anaphylactic response. Now, the scary part is that your throat closes in. I've never had that, knock on wood. I have only ever blown up where my face, and believe me, it's not nice. It's so uncomfortable, and the swelling takes 4 days to go down. So you'll see in these pictures, it's not a pleasant experience, and what that is some sort of autoimmune response. My body is attacking a totally normal thing and deciding this is bad. And so when I started having these issues, I was going to doctors and trying to figure out, and everyone told me, you're healthy, you're super healthy, you're actually really healthy for your age, there's nothing wrong here. So I had to go to naturopath. I knew something was wrong. The worst time that this happened, where I had the most responses, like I had a few in a row, was when I was living in Mooloolaba, Queensland, Australia. And I had just gone through a big breakup, and my life had been turned upside down, and I was just in a really bad place emotionally, mentally. I wasn't taking care of my physical health. I wasn't taking care of my mental health. And it wasn't really just the breakup. You know, the breakup was the culminating sort of factor that was like the domino effect that made everything else fall apart. So I've written about this in the past. This chapter of my life was definitely my darkest hour. I hit rock bottom. I find this hard to talk about on video. I write about it all the time, but this was such a dark place for me. And so because I was under so much stress, that is what was causing the reaction. So I had that clue. When I'm stressed out, my body reacts a certain way. So I started going to naturopaths because the doctors weren't helping. And I saw somebody that made me hold an electric rod. And I just sought help in any way I could. I didn't care how woo-woo it was. I was just like, fix me, help me, what's wrong? And the naturopaths were all like, well, you have adrenal fatigue. You've been pushing and like burning the candle at both ends your whole entire life. You're super stressed out. You're a type A. You never relax. You're always go, go, go. You're always goal oriented. You need to chill out and just relax. You need to let your body heal. And then I had another therapist that said, listen, you have all these things in your life that you've never confronted and dealt with. You've been running from them for years and years, and you're now at a place where you cannot run anymore, and you need to stop and slow down and take the time to deal with this shit. Because there are people out there who believe that your emotional state can affect your physical state, and sometimes these repercussions are as bad as multiple sclerosis or arthritis, or there's just a whole list of physical ailments that are common for people who have emotional repression issues. So all of these lights are like going off in my head where I'm like, oh my God, you're so right. I have definitely been pushing it. I have definitely been repressing all this stuff. What do I do? You know, I don't want my physical body to give up on me while I'm here healing. So fast forward, I think that was in 2015. It's now 2020, 5 years. I've been spending 5 years healing. And I'm not joking. I have been confronting all of my demons, all of the shit that I've been repressing. I've been working through it. I've been putting in the long, hard hours of really just being uncomfortable and confronting my fears and taking care of myself, you know, having self-care routines. And I've been getting better and better, and I'm strong, and I'm in such a great place. I've dealt with my addictions. I'm like killing it now, right? And I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm now on this AIP, autoimmune diet, where I've had to cut out everything. Guys, the discipline here, like, I'm so proud of myself, but because I've had these issues lately, I realized diet is everything. I need to make some big changes in my life, because that should help with my arthritis. That should help with whatever my allergies are, whatever this autoimmune stuff is. It's related to your guts, right? They say that your mental stuff is related to your guts. And so I've been really good to my guts, and I've had to cut out pretty much everything. So I can't have coffee. That's the worst one for me. Absolute worst for me. I can't have beans, legumes. I can't have grains. I can't have pretty much everything except for fruit, vegetables, although no nightshades, which kills a lot of really good vegetables, and meat. So super basic, and that's how I've lost weight. That's how I'm like getting really strong now, is that I'm literally cooking every single meal. I can't have anything packaged. I can't have anything that isn't freshly made. So this has been a huge game changer since I moved to Oaxaca. I met the lovely Jody, who's actually been through all this before. She had the same sort of past, and she's had the same sort of physical ailments, and she's gone through what I'm going through, and she's had really great success with putting things into remission. So that's where my head is now, is I'm like, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I can do this, I have control over my mind, I have control over my diet, I'm gonna heal. And so I've been doing this AIP, which is really hard, especially because it's so time consuming, and I'm somebody who just like wants to get to work and get shit done, but I have to interrupt things to cook for an hour and do dishes, and it's really challenging, but I'm feeling better, so this is a good thing. And I haven't had any issues since I've been taking care of my guts. My moods are better, my energy is flipping amazing. I'm not kidding you, that's the best part. Best part actually is probably my moods. I've always had fluctuating moods, high highs, low lows, nothing in between. Now I'm really like plateau. Every day is a new day, and nothing feels out of the ordinary. You know, I don't have these crazy mood swings where some days are great and some days are awful, and I don't know where I'm at, and I'm all over the place. I am healthy, happy Jess every day now, which is so great. And so all of this I'm sharing with you because I genuinely believe what is happening to me is connected to my emotions and my emotional repression. So because I didn't deal with the sexual abuse that I went through as a child, because I've spent my whole life wearing the mask, and by that I mean if I'm in a bad mood and I leave the house, there's no way in hell you're going to know that I'm in a bad mood. I wear the mask. You just change your physical, mental being and how you come across, and you change who you are just so that others don't judge you or don't see your pain. You put on the mask. It makes sense. You get it. I've been wearing the mask for so long that it has had these, I believe it has had these physical repercussions. So all in all, what I'd like to share with you is I am on a journey. I am on a path to healing. I genuinely believe that I can get on top of this, that I can fix this. Right now, I am struggling with 2 physical ailments, so that being the arthritis, and whether it's POTS or whatever it is, something is going on with my body. And the way that I aim to fix this is through diet and through mindset and meditation. So that's the last thing I want to talk to you about here. Is I really believe in the law of attraction. I really believe in manifestation. I really believe in mindset. And now that I've got the diet element under control, I'm really going to focus on healing with my mind, because I do believe that I need to make some changes. Right now, the way that I'm communicating about this, I have a disease, I have a disorder, I am sick. This is not a great way to heal. You have to believe and think about all the positive things instead of naming it as a disease, instead of calling yourself sick. You need to really change the language that you use towards yourself and what you're going through. So I now have Post-its all over my room, and I've just done this today. So I'm starting the mindset as of today, which is why I wanted to record this. But I have Post-its that are reminding me that I am healthy and I am thriving. I have strength and immunity. I do not have disease in my body. I am 100% healing and surviving and growing and getting stronger and getting better every single day of my life. And that is how I choose to see this. And I really think that mindset is a big thing with this. And I'm hoping that I can heal myself in this way, because I will admit that this scares me. I am afraid that this could get worse. I am afraid that it could manifest itself in different ways, and I do not want to live in fear. I refuse to live in fear, and so from here forward, I'm changing the way that I look at this. I'm sharing this with you today because I've had a lot of people come to me who have autoimmune disease. There's just so many different ways that it manifests itself. Autoimmune people have been coming to me and talking to me of what's your experience and what's that. So I made this video for that purpose, so you can see and understand what my story is with all this. But I also want to document the beginning. Today is April, I don't know what, I think it's April 8th. This is what happens when you're in quarantine. April 8th, I'm really making a decision to change my mindset around this and to try and heal myself, because I know that I am going to live a long and prosperous life, and I will not let anything stand in the way of me achieving everything that I am set out to achieve in this life. Mark my words, I am going to make myself. I'm going to achieve everything that I set out to do, and I will not let anything like this stand in my way. I believe that I can heal. The other reason I'm sharing this is because I want you to reach out, and please feel free to connect, because the hardest part about moving forward with this stuff is leaning in and dealing with the repression or dealing with any trauma or abuse. And if you're somebody who has a past with trauma or abuse, whatever form that may be. It can be verbal abuse, it can be sexual, it can be manipulative. There's just so many different forms of abuse, and if you've never taken care of your mental health, then it could turn to physical issues. And if that is an issue for you, please feel free to come to me. I am somebody who is great at communicating and listening, and I would be more than happy to chat it out. So thank you so much for listening to my story.